Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan joins me now. Congressman, thanks so much for being here.
You bet. Good to be with you, Katie.
Given the reporting that's out right now with Donald Trump saying that he wants his attorney general to protect him and he's unhappy about the recusal, do you think it's Jeff Sessions' job to protect the president?
I think Jeff Sessions shouldn't have recused himself from this issue, but what I want him to do is to do his job. Answer the questions we ask you in committee. I ask him a specific question, a fundamental question.
Congressman, I said, do you think
I want him to give us the documents we've requested.
I
want him to appoint a second special counsel, and I want him to stop the leaks. The leaks as evidenced by this piece in the New York Times last week about Papadopoulos, 4 unnamed sources from the FBI. So that's what I want to have stop. I want him to do his job.
Congressman, is it his job to protect the president?
It's his job to do his job, and that's the point in our piece. We didn't get into the question you're asking.
I'm asking you a question. Do you think it's his job to protect the president? It should be a yes or no question. Answer.
I think it's his. No, I think it's his job to be the attorney general and give information to an equal branch of government, the United States Congress, that we've asked for. I think it's also interesting, Katie, that just this week we are now getting confirmation that the Justice Department has had they've seen the light. I think because of all the pressure Chairman Nunes has put on him and a number of us on the Judiciary Committee, they are going to hand over documents. They are going to make witnesses available. That's a good sign that things are moving in the right direction. But I don't know that they'd have had this turnaround but for the pressure we've put on them.
Do you think it's Jeff Sessions' job to protect the president?
I think it's Jeff Sessions' job to be the Attorney General of the United States and do that.
I've asked you this question multiple times, and you've given me the same answer. It's a simple yes or no answer. Do you think it's Jeff Sessions' job to protect the president? The president thinks it's his job to protect the president. And my question to you, you're a congressman, you're a lawmaker, yes or no, is it Jeff Sessions' job, the Attorney General's job, to protect the president of the United States?
No, it's the Attorney General's job to do his constitutional duty, and part of that is giving information to the United States Congress when we rightfully have a duty to get that information so we can answer fundamental questions for the American people. Fundamental questions like your previous guest talked about, former FBI Director James Comey. Why did James Comey leak a document through a friend to the New York Times? Is that supposed to happen? Why did we just learn in the last few weeks that the Clinton campaign and the DNC paid for the dossier? Fundamental question I've asked that we want the Justice Department to answer, and the FBI to answer. Was the dossier the basis for FISA court warrants to spy on Americans associated with the Trump campaign? Those are fundamental questions. So I want all these questions answered.
In reporting out by the New York Times say it was not the dossier that started this investigation. The dossier corroborated what they had already known. In fact, your colleagues in Congress, Senators Warner and Burr, have both said the same thing, that the dossier had corroborated, that U.S. officials had corroborated some parts of what was in the dossier. No, Katie, come on. That's exactly what they have said, not what I have said. And here's my second question to you. Hold on, Congressman, I'm letting you go on your tangents, but I've invited you on to answer questions that we have.
But the FBI director said it was unverified in a salacious document, unproven, unverified. Everyone knows this dossier is garbage.
Senators Warner and Burr have both said that parts of the dossier have been corroborated. That is not Katie Tur saying that. That is Senators Warner and Burr in the Senate on the Intel Committee. So you can't say, come on, Katie. Go to your colleagues and say, come on to them. They've seen much more than I have.
Hold on. You're talking about leaks, and you're saying James Comey said it was unverified.
Hold on, Congressman. Just hold on. Let me ask a question, please. You're saying that you want the leaks to stop in the Department of Justice. You're blaming all the leaks from the Department of Justice. A lot of the leaks could be coming out of Congress. A lot of the leaks could be coming from lawyers for the defendants. Do you think members of Congress should step down? Do you think lawyers of the defendants should step down?
But, Katie, that's not who the New York Times cited. They cited 4 unnamed sources in the FBI on the Papadopoulos story. George Papadopoulos, some 28-year-old shooting his mouth off at a bar, that was really the catalyst for the Russian. We're supposed to believe after a year of talking about the dossier,
how does George Papadopoulos know that Russians have emails from the DNC, damaging emails about Hillary Clinton? How does George Papadopoulos know that before anybody else knows that?
George Papadopoulos shooting his mouth off at a bar. Somehow that was the catalyst for the Russian investigation when it's been about the dossier for the last year.
And WikiLeaks did have those emails. How does he know that? You're not curious about how George Papadopoulos knew that?
And you know what? and the special counsel will get to the bottom of that. But what I'm saying is there's a host of other questions we need answers to. Like, why did the FBI decide just a few weeks ago to release text messages between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page? Normally they'll say, oh, there's ongoing investigations, we're not going to make that information public. But they decide to release it. Why? And why only 375? Why not all 10,000? When are we going to get the other 96% of those text messages? And why did Lisa Page get kicked off the Mueller team or leave the Mueller team 2 weeks prior to us even, the FBI even knowing about the text messages, 2 weeks before Peter Strzok was kicked? There's a host of questions. I want all the answers because I think the American people want all the answers to all these questions, the ones you're asking, the ones I'm asking.
Lots of folks out there are curious about what the Republican motivations are, because it seems like the closer the Mueller probe gets to the president, the louder Republicans get about stopping this investigation or trying to throw a wrench into it. So can you say you're not doing that?
Not at all. We want the truth. But what have we learned in the last 6, 7, 8 weeks? One, the Clinton campaign, the DNC, paid for the dossier. The Clinton campaign paid the law firm, who paid Fusion, who paid Christopher Steele, who paid Russians for information. We think that information was turned in, dressed up, bootstrapped up into a document that was taken to the FISA court to get warrants. We've learned Peter Strzok and Lisa Page had all these text messages.
Carter Page already had a FISA warrant out for him. Carter Page, it was easy to get another one. He already had one. He was already somebody who had traveled to Russia. He did again. So that's kind of a red herring.
Top official at the Justice Department's wife was working for Fusion, brought onto Fusion's team for the Russian project, for the dossier project. We've learned that in the last several weeks.
Jim,
Peter Strzok, the deputy head of counterintelligence at the FBI, the guy who ran the Clinton investigation,
I know you want to dwell on the dossier. I know you want to dwell on the dossier, but the fact of the matter is there are 2 people in the Senate who are heading up the Intel investigation into this, Intel committee investigation. One of them is a Republican, who both say that parts of the dossier have been substantiated by officials. That's just a fact from them. That is not a fact from Katie Tur. That is a fact from them. But your guess, but that's the thing. You say my guess. You have no idea because you're not in on that committee.
You know what was corroborated?
Don't you want to, Congressman, don't you want to know? Don't you want to know definitively? Don't you want to know definitively?
McCabe was deposed.
Don't you want to know definitively if there is something there?
McCabe was deposed,
rather than trying to stop yourself from finding out, because that's what it seems like you're doing.
Katie, they corroborated that Carter Page went to Russia. Okay, but what I'm talking about is all the other stuff that James Comey testified.
That's what Senators Byrne and Warner corroborated. You know that
was disproven. The disproven dossier is what James Comey said under oath when he was in front of Congress testifying.
Congressman,
so, okay, if you think a couple things in the dossier have been corroborated, fine. What I want to know is, was that dossier used to get a warrant?
I'm not on that committee. Do you know what's been corroborated?
No, that's what I believe was corroborated based on